Hello everyone, it's me, the owner of Rising Phoenix, Hyperwars here. And today, I bring you the first ever video on the Rising Phoenix channel. I'm really proud to say that. So before we jump any further, I want to say thank you so much for supporting all of us, helping Rising Phoenix become, a league that we can all watch now, not from my channel, but instead from this one community channel for Rising Phoenix. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been involved with it, to everyone who's still working ever so hard to help with Rising Phoenix. Have to say just a big thank you. But that's not what we're here for today. As much as I can say thank you to everyone, we're here for the calendar announcement. Now I'm doing this a bit early compared to what I planned, because I planned to have it all in this one big stream with driver announcements, etc, etc. However, those plans have changed due to me and the other co-commentators' commitments on that day. So one of us can't do too early, which would be me. The other one can't go too late, which is my co-commentator for this season at least. I won't spoil who that is yet. But anyway, without further ado, I'll be getting into the calendar as we speak. So the first race of the calendar is the basic first race of every calendar. Yeah, I don't think you could go really a season without having Australia at the start of it all. I think it's a good race to just get off with, get yourself ready into the F1 spirit. See, Australia's one of those not too exciting tracks, but not too dull either. There can be a lot of overtaking points, and there can be a lot of excitement going on at the track here at Melbourne. So that is the first race of the season. Now the second also stays the same, as we have Bahrain as our second track. Personally, I love Australia followed by Bahrain. I think they're two really good tracks to go together. Australia really giving more a technical side at times. The track's not too difficult. In fact, it's called very easy on the game. But it's not too difficult, but it's also not always flat out. Whereas Bahrain is one of those tracks where you've got a slightly technical sector too, but most of it is flat out. You've got three really good DRS sections, four in fact, really long straights. The technical S section on the right hand side, as you can see. It's just a really good track, I think, to have second in the season. And I really like the Australia-Bahrain opening. And that's where things change. Because our third race is not China, it's not Baku, Spain, Monaco, but it's Canada. Now this is a hard one for me to actually give a reason why it's here. Because Canada just seems to be a really nice track. Everyone loves Canada. It's either you love it or you like watching it. So I think it's a good track to have third. We kind of had this big thought about what we're going to do with the calendar this year, and nobody seems to ever put Canada, like if they're doing a full calendar and mixing the tracks around, they never seem to put Canada near the front. So I just thought, you know what, let's do it. Let's just put Canada near the start. Have another really good track that a lot of people like, in the front freeze. I know quite a few people like Bahrain, most people like Australia, and Canada, it just rounds up a really good start to the season. Which then leads us on to our fourth race of the season. USA. Now, because F1 and Liberty, well, F1 in general and Liberty, probably, like having F1 in certain places, so they don't really want to move around too much. What I thought is we have USA straight after Canada. We just go across the earth from Australia to Bahrain in the Middle East, and then up to North America, where we continue on from Canada in America. It's basically only a day apart in Rising Phoenix, but that day can be long, and the good travel from Canada to USA, some drivers may find it difficult in comparison. But I definitely say it's more one of those well, it's a less easy circuit than Canada, Bahrain or Australia, in my personal opinion. There's a lot less overtaking spots. However, most of the best drivers can drive around here pretty cleanly. You got to watch out for the last few turns where you can get done for track exceeding. But apart from that, USA is definitely a more technical track, especially with Sector 1 that's basically copying every S section ever. Now, our 5th track of the season, you might have guessed already, is Mexico. I mean, I don't know how you didn't guess it was Mexico, but still, it's Mexico. So, yeah, keeping with the North America theme, or actually I think you can class Mexico as South America, but the Americas. Again, we're just moving down from the North of America, and again, Mexico, very high speed track. Middle sector is amazing, especially if people get it wrong, and sitting in the commentary box and watching people try and fight their way through that middle sector side by side, going to each and every corner, knowing that one little mistake, one little mess up on the wheel, and they could be in that barrier, just shows how hard it is to fight round here. But with a long DRS slipstream fest straight at the start, it's going to be one of those races where we're going to see a lot of overtaking on lap 1, and we're going to see a lot of overtaking down that main straight. Moving on to our 6th race now, and we move into the European leg as we get Azerbaijan. Now, me and the admins had quite a lot of words about this, about where Azerbaijan should be, and a lot of us liked it near the start of the season. You know, it's one of those races where if you end on it, you don't want to think, oh no, Azerbaijan was one of my season defining races. You know, you don't want to be knocked out the championship at Baku, and how gutted would you be? So we put it 6th. You know, it's gone back a few places, it's gone back 2 in all fairness, but still, those 2 places are worth it, because Baku is the opening to our European leg. It's the first street circuit, apart from Australia, that we have in the calendar. I mean proper street circuit, obviously. And it's the first, according to the game, very hard track that we've put in this calendar. So I think Azerbaijan deserves its spot in the 6th placement for this year. Now our 7th track is Austria. You know, another very easy track on the weekend of Mexico and Australia. Mexico and Azerbaijan, my apologies. You've got 2 varying degrees of tracks, and then going back to Austria the next Friday, it will just be easy. It'll be going from an easy track to a harder track to an easier track again. Austria, again, a slipstream fest, a track where if you fall back, it's very, very hard to catch up, because people don't make mistakes around Austria as much, especially because it's a smaller track, and you've got to be there to win it. You've got to be hitting that lap record and pushing even beyond it. The fastest drivers will be lapping the slowest drivers in this race, and that is a fact, no matter how hard you race. So Austria, next on our calendar. Also in that weekend is another fan favourite. It is Monza. You know, we didn't want Monza to lead on to something like Singapore again. So instead of that, we've put it just behind Austria. Monza, one of the best tracks in F1. You know, it doesn't provide much action in the real life F1. However, if you've watched league races there, you know how good this track is, how much fun you can have. First corner shenanigans every single start of the race. You'll just see dive bombs galore, people making silly moves that they really shouldn't be doing, but it all being part of the action. And yeah, the stewards have to get involved in most of these Italy races. With Rising Phoenix, I can definitely tell you it's going to be one to remember. Moving on, we're actually going backwards now, as Spa is our next track. According to F1, it's an easy track, but telling a lot of people who race around here, Going up Rayon Eau Rouge is not the best thing, especially at high speeds. Going side by side, very, very difficult. It could be one of those tracks where you really decide your season, like it normally is in the real life F1. But Spa here could be deciding who the men are and who the boys are. So I'm very excited for that to be our 9th track in the calendar. As for track number 10, we go to a very controversial track. Not many people like it, not many people dislike it. It's one of those, you love it, you hate it. It's like Marmite. It's Paul Ricard. So, he had to put it in somewhere. And really, it's kind of one of those tracks that fell into place just behind Belgium. You know, it's got some fast straights, quite a few actually. It's not too technical either, and a lot of drivers do seem to have quite a lot of fun at it, especially when it's not raining. However, if Paul Ricard does rain, then you can tell there's going to be a lot of spills. But luckily no barrier hits, because the nearest wall is Dover. Anyway, on to our 11th track now, and it is Britain. Yep, the home of motorsport, apparently. So Britain is our 11th track of the season, marking our halfway point of this season, technically between France and Britain. But nonetheless, Britain is there as our 11th track. And, well, actually, the next few tracks we have kept the same. So I'm just going to rush through these kind of quickly because us admins agreed that personally these tracks were best together. So Britain, Germany and Hungary are 11, 12 and 13, as a lot of us just really like it. Britain to Germany seems like a really good comparison, and then Hungary just slowing things down a bit, but not too much, is also something that we quite liked. And on to our 14th track now, as we're nearing the end of our European leg, or Europe whatsoever, and this is Spain. Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya is our 14th track. It moves back quite a few places. In fact, it actually moves back 9 places in this calendar, as it's going to be our second to last European race, our last one on an official circuit. Not classing Monaco as a circuit because it's not, but you know, it's a, I don't even know what it can be called. It's a road race. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, it's a good track. It's got a few fast straights, some very long right-handers, mainly the one there. You know, and there's some very key overtaking spots. And if you mess up at this track, it's kind of a death sentence for you, because of how quick it is. A lot of people can gain a lot of time here, so you don't want to mess up. Our 15th track, like I already said, is Monaco. Now at Monte Carlo, the Circuit de Monaco is in fact a classic to the F1 calendar, and it's a really, really brilliant track that people love until they race on it and crash out. Which is something we're hoping to see, because Monaco always provides us with thrills and spills, but we also want to see clean racing, more importantly. Now finally, leaving our European leg, so our 16th track is Abu Dhabi. The Yas Marina circuit joins us not at the end of the calendar this year, but instead near enough at the end, in the 16th race. You know, there's only a few left, but anyway, it's here because of the fact that our end race has already been predetermined, and it was predetermined by the start of the first season 0 of Rising Phoenix. The Abu Dhabi kind of puts itself as a midpoint between Europe and the final few races of the season. Now moving on from Abu Dhabi, we go to another traditional night race, being Singapore. The Marina Bay Street Circuit It's a very, very technical track, a very hard one too. Not known for its fast racing, but known for its technical street circuitness. You know what else you're going to say about Singapore? It's Singapore, people love it. Actually, no, they don't. A lot of people hate it. Nobody knows why it's on the calendar. But it's Singapore. You know, moving through Asia now, as we go to China, the Shanghai International Circuit. One of the ones you traditionally see at the front of the calendar. However, this season, you are seeing it near the back. You know, we've gone back through Asia, and the very, very fast back straights to China could prove to be where someone wins the championship this season, possibly. There are obviously only 3 races left to go after this one. China could provide an important 26 points for anyone if they win and get fastest lap. Now moving on to our next race, and it is Russia. The Sochi Autodrome being the last technical street but not street circuit in the calendar. You know, 18 turns of a track that yeah, can see some good battling at times. Very hard track limits from the FIA here, and the Sochi Autodrome may also see the champion be crowned. We're hoping not though. And our penultimate race, as we will leave Asia, is Japan. Japan marks the 20th race of the calendar season. Suzuka International Circuit, a very technical track that a lot of racers can either mess up on or do very, very well at. 130R, a key, memorable corner that could see some very, very good overtakes, possibly even the one that wins the title. Which could be said for any track really, but, you know. Anyway, and the final race of the season is Japan. No, not Japan short. It's Brazil. A track that I don't ever think could not go at the end of a Grand Prix season. It is perfect to end off. The Senna S's, just amazing. People coming across the line to the Brazilian crowd, all there waiting just to stream out for the new F1 world champion. Honestly, Brazil, perfect last race to end the season off on. But that's for another day. In fact, that's about 13 or so weeks away. So be prepared, because our season's starting soon. Rising Phoenix Season 1, it's coming out soon. We'll see you next time. Peace.